You disconnected us.
Mike, it looks like you're back.
I'm here, yeah. I didn't do anything. Haven't done anything.
That was me. I just hit the record button, but now your screen is back on.
Right, but I cannot hear. Yeah, people are saying they've lost connection, and I cannot hear anybody else.
Well, let me unmute it for 1 second.
Yeah.
You are now unmuted.
There, it sounds like we've got a few people on there.
Great.
Monica, are you still on?
Well,
I'm on, Jen.
Okay, great. We lost you for a second there, but I'm here, and you can mute everybody, Jen, and we can get going.
Okay. You are now muted.
So everybody,
there we go.
It's Mike Stott here with Your Coaching Matters, and a couple of other housekeeping things is you guys have invested your time. Pay attention. Get your note paper out and write things. If you want a copy of the slides, I'll send them to you. Just ask you to email me, and we'll send you a copy of the slides. I speak quickly. I get real excited about this. So if I'm not clear or I befuddle you rather than clear things up, just chat in the chat room, ask the question, and then Monica will get it to me so that we can make sure that I explain things thoroughly, because sometimes I get so excited about all this, I don't do it. I have given this webinar or this presentation once before. So if you've seen it, I apologize. For those of you that know me from Your Coaching Matters or FSBO course or expiredcourse.com, this is completely different. This is really the 7 killer questions to ask for sale by owners and expireds in today's real estate market. And, the first question might be, who is this guy? Why is Mike Stott, talking today? I'm a real estate agent. I was licensed in 1980 when I was 18. I was named by Inman last year as one of the 25 best coaches in the real estate business. It's been a little over 10 years. My wife and I, Donna, have been coaching full-time. I still sell real estate. With my son-in-law, we're on track to sell about, I think it's 46 or 50 homes this year. On Tuesdays, through Your Coaching Matters from 11 to 12, we're doing something that's getting more and more popular, and it's the Coaches In. It's a webinar call-in show, and you might want to jot down my email address, mike.stott, and there's all T's, no C's, at mac.com, and my cell phone number is 678-232-0927. I will return your call. If not today, then tomorrow if you have a call, or send me an email, and we will get back to you. And so why would we want to polish up, or for those of you that are new to Espresso Agent, our FSBO and expired skills? And I feel like I may be preaching to the choir a little, but here we are. It's the middle of November, and most of our marketplaces where snowbirds don't come, we get a seasonal slowdown. And a seasonal slowdown will mean that, over the Christmas holidays, we generally sell here in Atlanta, where I'm based, we sell about 20% fewer homes in November, December, and January than we do in, June, July, and August. Where I sold before 10 years ago was Hawaii, and the seasonal slowdown was even a little less pronounced than that. But the seasonal slowdown's coming. For sale by owners, and expireds are going to have more difficulty getting their house sold. I've been tracking FSBOs at a higher level since the beginning of the summer, and what I'm finding is even in this market, which is perhaps one of the best real estate markets of all time, that only 4 out of 10 for sale by owners are selling on their own, and 4 out of 10 are listing with a real estate agent. And expireds, the number of expireds in Atlanta seem to be increasing. So look at your numbers. Before you say there's no expireds, get into your multiple listing service and search, or look at your Espresso Agent and see what expireds are actually out there, because they are there, and I think they're coming in more and more. The market may be cycling downward. If you study since World War II, the real estate market tended to go up for 4 to 5 years and then go down for 3 to 4 years. And if you look at those cycles, we followed that pretty closely. We had a double up cycle with the crazy interest rates that we were offering and the crazy loans we were offering. And then we had a longer than normal down market from 2006 or 7 to 2011 or 12. But since then, we've had 4 solid years of going up, 5 years for some parts of the country, and it may be time for the market to start cycling downward. And if it doesn't now, in a year it will, so it's a good time to get really good at what you're doing. Inventory is growing. Most of our clients across the country are saying the months remaining inventory is growing, which means we as real estate agents have options, which means that the for sale by owners, we're going to be less likely to show for sale by owners. Now, I don't get into a moral debate whether that's good or bad. It's just what's happening in physical reality. So it will be harder to sell on their own. And as inventory grows, of course, we'll see more expireds also. And it's always better. I believe this 100%, even with the typo. Expireds are looking for a great agent who can help them. And for sale by owners, it's always better. Always, if they use a great real estate agent. So if it's not time already, it's real close to it. Let's talk about some ways to get really freaking great about working with these types of sellers, the expireds and for sale by owners. We at Your Coaching Matters believe that good questions control the flow of any conversation. And the goal is, in another 30 minutes or so, is that you'll be able to list any home, not just expireds or for sale by owners, with less struggle and more confidence because of the questions you ask, the answers your clients give, and the services and the solutions that you provide. You'll be able to comfortably and confidently handle any situation if you focus on asking questions. I mean, they can throw anything at you, and if you're not worried about giving them the right answer, but you ask a good question, then that will allow you to gather more information to give a great answer. And since January 1st, 2013, I've sold a bunch of for sale by owners. 100% truthful here in physical reality. I've probably only listed 5 or 6 expired listings in the last 3 to 4 years because I'm meeting all my goals selling for sale by owners. Now, I also have a property management department, and so when a for sale by owner was unable to sell or it doesn't make sense for them financially to sell, I'm able to help them also, and we've made a bunch of money doing that also. The question to ask yourself is, how much additional money would you make if you sold 10, 12, 20 additional houses in 2017? Just put that number to yourself because that's how serious the next 30 minutes will be. Espresso Agent, what I like about it, and I am a subscriber to it, is it gives you the people to call. Every day you get those emails, and you have to consciously not open the email. And so there's a little bit of accountability built into Espresso Agent, and what I like is they give you good numbers and good information, and you're able to get into the conversation. I do not use the auto dial feature because in my marketplace I'm really only calling 4 to 10 people a day from Espresso Agent, and it's just as quick for me to go ahead and do it. I'm not doing the rapid campaigns. And Espresso Agent also gives you the ability to set up campaigns. So I'm a big believer in Espresso Agent, and I think if you're not using it to the full of its ability, you might want to review that and talk with, I don't know if it would be Melissa or one of the other salespeople, or go to the chat rooms. They have a lot of great education there for you. Okay, so we have 2 good courses that work hand in hand with Espresso Agent, FSBOcourse.com and expiredcourse.com. Great names. I spent lots of time with market research coming up with it. But I know in real estate, most of us are not the beat them over the head until they list with us sort of people. And what we've identified as building up on the triangle of trust is that you find the lead, and then you're at the bottom of that pyramid or that triangle of trust, and there's small talk or awkwardness. And our job as a salesperson, as a real estate professional, is to have the initiative and courage to ask a great question that gets us into a good conversation or meaningful dialogue. You want to connect. I am generally on FSBOs and Expires. I do a 2-step listing appointment. So I schedule a preview appointment We connect even more face-to-face. I give them some good information. I ask them some great questions. I determine their motivation. We begin to appreciate each other and bond. And then over time and with follow-up and, some energy in doing what I said I would do, they're going to trust us enough to secure the listing. And then the process is to leverage that listing so that you can find buyers for it and let other people in that neighborhood know that you're a professional. So it's a pretty straightforward process, but again, there's no magic pill. There's no magic formula. It takes time and follow through and follow up, and you taking the initial step to have the initiative and courage to ask a great question and get into the meaningful dialogue. The reason why I like the two-step presentation is the National Association of Realtors every year publishes a profile of home buyers and sellers, and the 2016 report just came out, and the numbers are identical. 72% of the people who list their home list with the one and only agent they talk to. 72%. Now, the other, if you look at the number that did 2 or 3, that's 97%. 97% talk to 1, 2, or 3 agents before they make one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. So if you can get in the door, and if you can meet with them, and if you provide some great service, you're going to be highly likely to get that listing. We use a client's belief, a FSBO or an expired's belief that all agents are the same, and I put that in quotation marks, and that works in your favor to get in the door, because I know once you get in the door, you're going to wow them, because you're going to come from a spirit of contribution. You're going to offer to help. You're going to have solutions to their problems. And so once you show them that and that you do care about them, you earn the listing. You earn the right to at least interview for the listing. I mean, the proof is in the numbers. If you're working primarily for sale by owners, over 90% of all sales are made with a real estate agent listing a home. I know the statistics say 89%, but they also say 8% are for sale by owner, but half of those for sale by owners never go on the open market. They're divorce cases or inheritance cases or sweetheart deals. So only 4% of the for sale by owners are true for sale by owners. All banks who are in the business of making money, say it's a good business decision to list their foreclosures that they take back or their short sales with a real estate agent. If that doesn't give you confidence in talking to people that might not think we're worth it because the last agent didn't do a good job, or they're going to save the money by going for sale by owner, you might want to review this chart each year. But we do add value to the transaction. In fact, I've been tracking this since 2006, 11 years now, and the average commission difference is about 25%. In 2016, I believe the difference was $54,000. It was $245 and $181 or something like that. I should have updated it. I'm sorry I didn't, but I'll get that to you if you want to email me, mike.stott@mac.com. I'll get you this sheet. And for only the second time in the last 15 years, when they were first for sale by owner and then agent assisted, they didn't net more money this year. But in many years, they net more money. In fact, in 10 out of the 12 years we've been tracking it. But on the whole, people with more money don't go for sale by owner. And on the whole, we net the sellers more money. Now, is it 25%? No, but we're not charging 25% for the work we do. Dave Ramsey, I'm not going to read the whole letter, but the letter says, would you go for sale by owner? And he says he's been a licensed real estate agent for over 34 years. And between basic mistakes, pricing errors, and lack of negotiation skills, you'll cost yourself more than the agent's commission by trying to sell it yourself. The ForSaleByOwner.com creator tried to sell his Manhattan apartment, gave up after 6 months, used a real estate agent who raised the price, and then paid the full commission. I mean, if there was ever anybody, if you're talking to for sale by owners, if there was ever anybody dedicated to the thought of selling for sale by owner, it would be the owner of ForSaleByOwner.com, and he even ended up using a real estate agent. You can find both of these on the internet, If you just look, Dave Ramsey, for sale by owner, or FSBO.com, for sale by owner, founder sells his home. You can find them on the internet. USA did an article that agents are often worth their weight in commissions. We didn't know what we were doing. We thought it would be easier to go through a broker again. Not a question. After she took over, it was such a relief. Just some thoughts. And then our good friends from Keeping Current Matters, Steve Harney, shows that, hey, in the age of the internet, since 1991 to 2012, the number of people going for sale by owner has dropped in half. In half. So with all the information out there and with all the services out there, the number of people going for sale by owner has dropped dramatically. Why? Because we add value. And then HomeGain did a little report, just the last one that we'll show you on statistics, is that people like using real estate agents. They would use them again. That the lowest number I've ever seen is 22% of the for sale by owners eventually decided to enlist the aid of a real estate agent. This was, during the bad market, and they're twice as likely to get their home sold using a real estate agent. So those are some facts and figures and numbers. So I'm not just saying do this because it feels good. No, do this because we offer a real value and service to the real estate community out there, people wanting to buy and sell their home. So question number one, come from a spirit of contribution and an attitude of I really want to know. I really want to know your answer to this question. Okay, so first question for sale by owners is, are you offering a commission if a real estate agent brings you a buyer? Now you can ask this on the phone, or you can email them if all you have is the email address. You can leave it in a handwritten note on their door. It's a short, simple message that expects a reply. They say yes, no, or maybe. It doesn't matter. If you're on the phone, you say, great. When could I stop by to see the house? We want to get you in front of them because, remember, 72% of the people list with they interview one and only one agent to sell their house. Or if you're working with an expired, a simple question might be, as you know, your listing is finished in our computers, and I'm calling to apply for the job of getting your home sold. When are you scheduling interviews? Again, very short, very sweet. It expects it expects a response, and it's presupposing, using neurolinguistic programming, it's presupposing that they are scheduling interviews, not just relisting with their same agent. My studies of expireds have shown that about 4 out of 10 relist with the same agent. About 4 out of 10 list with a new agent, and 2 out of 10 give up trying to sell their house. So asking that question, as you know, your listing's finished in the computer, so I'm calling to apply for the job of getting your home sold. When are you scheduling interviews? Great first question, but you have to ask it with the I really want to know, I really want to help. Question number two. What will you do when you sell your home? Okay, with the for sale by owners, I ask this question just straight up. What will you do when you sell your home? That if/when is called a doubt drop. And I want you to ask it smiling, tilting your head, nodding, and doing your best to look like an innocent puppy dog. Now I don't know if you can see me. I don't think either of the cameras are on. But I'm nodding my head. I'm tilted a little to my right. And I try to look like a puppy dog, but I'm not very good at it. But we all know somebody that does that good puppy dog look. So you want to ask the question sort of nodding, what will you do if and when you sell your home? I really want to know. I really want to know. Because this question is going to determine what their motivation is. So question number 3. If your home doesn't sell in 6 weeks, would you be willing to interview an agent, or would you rather stay the course? If your home doesn't sell in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or 4 weeks, would you be willing to interview an agent, or would you rather stay the course? Now, I'm not a stickler for particular words in scripts. I'm much more interested in your intention and the thought that's behind it. but I do like the words, would you be willing? Would you be willing is much less threatening than would you interview? Would you be willing to interview is much less threatening. It will cause less chatter in their mind, and it will have them be more likely to say yes. Or if you're working with expireds, if you had sold, what were you going to do with the money, or where were you going to move to? You're just having a simple conversation. I really want to know. If you had sold, what were you going to do? And when you ask this question, you sort of want to make a sad face and sort of think to yourself, ouch, as you're asking it. If you had sold, what were you going to do? For me, that involves scritching up my forehead. That's my ouch face. Just a thought. It's some neuro-linguistic programming and some mirror mimicking and matching, because at this point in the conversation, if you can get them to think ouch also, you're well on the way to earning that listing. Point number 4.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
It's Monica back here.
Hi, Monica.
Can you go back to that number 3? Are you, regardless of their answer to that first one, no, I'm not willing to interview, are you moving on to 4, which we'll see here in a minute, or is there a different course you take if you're hitting resistance?
Okay, so if you're hitting resistance there, and great question, I don't know who asked it or if Monica came it up, is we're getting into the conversation. See, and the goal, there's one goal and one goal only with any expired or for sale by owner, and that goal is not to get the listing. That would be like, Monica, I don't know if you're married or single. We haven't really met, but let's just say we're younger again, and we're married. You know, we go on a first date, and after about 10 minutes, I look over at you and I say, Monica, I think you're wonderful. Let's get married. On the very first date after 10 minutes, how are you going to feel about that?
Right, little too quick, too soon. I don't even know you yet.
Little too slimy, little too just flat out weird, and you're going to run away. So in this, the point of all of these questions, and you stop asking them once you get the appointment to meet face to face. So it doesn't really matter what they say, because you're all superstar, rock star agents. You know that they're going to say anything they can to get you off the phone, or through off the email chain or whatever you're doing, but they don't really know what they don't know. So it doesn't matter what they say, because they don't know, because it's not 6 weeks in the future. They don't know if they're going to interview. What we're asking is, would they be willing to interview an agent? So if they say no at this point, you can just simply say, interesting, and then go, let me ask you this. What's the biggest advantage, and this one's just for sale by owner, what's the biggest advantage to you in selling on your own? And if they're honest, and 95% of the time they will be, they're going to say, saving to commission. And I want you to, with that spirit of contribution, say, that's great. And I want you to know that if it's, if you charge 3% and it's a $200,000 listing, say it. $6,000 is a lot of money, isn't it? Nodding my head with the puppy dog and a smile on my face. And now they're thinking, wow, he gets it. It is a lot of money. No other agent has said that yet. And then you ask them, just, smiling again, what's the biggest advantage a buyer would have in coming direct to you? And I'll tell everybody on this call, it's amazing. Half the time, they don't have an answer. They haven't thought of an advantage. About a quarter of the time, they're going to say, well, I have a really unique house, and it's really good, and people should be lining up for it. And the other 3/4 of the time, they're going to come to the realization that, hey, the buyer could save some of the commission, I can save some of the commission, everybody's going to have a win-win, and they're going to say that. And then I want you to ask this question. Who has the advantage in that negotiation over the commission? You with one home to sell, or the buyer with options? And I don't care how strong your market is, they have options. There are other $250,000 houses out there for sale, maybe not in that school district, maybe not in that neighborhood, but the buyer has options. So who has the advantage in that negotiation over the commission? You with one home to sell, or the buyer with options, the money, and probably even a real estate agent negotiating on their behalf. And that's going to give them, so you're nodding, You're showing a little bit of concern, but this is going to get you into a deeper conversation with those for sale by owners. And I promise you, nobody else is asking them these questions. So the 3 questions are, again, on part number 4, is what's the biggest advantage to you in selling on their own? And they're going to say the commission. That's great. I understand it. Wow, that is a lot of money. So let me ask you this. What's the biggest advantage a buyer would have in coming direct to you? They're going to stare at you sometimes. You say, well, could it be that maybe the buyer could save a little bit of money and you could save a little bit of money and everybody, wins? Yes. Well, let me ask you this. Who has the advantage in that negotiation over the commission? You with one home to sell, or the buyer with options, the money, and a real estate agent? So it's a very strong question. It makes them a little uncomfortable. Remember, on the triangle of trust, there's some awkwardness and some discomfort. But when you ask this question and you're coming from the spirit of contribution, not the nanny, nanny, boo-boo, I got you, but when you're coming from, I really want to know, I want you to consider this because maybe you don't know what you don't know, and I want to help, they're going to get into a deeper conversation.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you just
please
clarify on that last one a little bit? Not sure following the over the commission part. Are you saying who has the advantage of other than that commission?
No. So it's a 3-parter. In the second part, what's the biggest advantage a buyer would have in coming direct to you? So just role play it with me, Monica. So what's the biggest advantage a buyer would have in coming direct to you to buy your house, Monica?
Well, nobody knows my house better than me, so I just think it's best if they work directly with me. Plus, maybe they can save a little money because I don't have to pay you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that would be great. In a perfect world, you'd save, some of the commission, the buyer would save some of the commission, and everybody would end up happy because they'd get a great house at a fair price, right?
Right.
But let me ask you, now you're in a negotiation situation with the buyer. Who has the advantage in that negotiation over who's going to save how much of that commission? Who do you think has the advantage?
Gotcha. Okay, I'm completely following you now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how that one works, and so it's pretty neat. And number 5, if you were to say, Monica, I don't want you to come over. I'm not going to hire an agent. So you're pretty firm, okay? And we get this all the time. And then what I do is I give them reasons why, with question number 5, they might allow you to come over. I know you're not interested in hiring an agent right now. Would you be willing to let me come over and see the home? It will help in 6 ways. Number 1 is I or someone in my office might have a buyer. Okay? I won't know till I've seen your house. That goes off the old Mike Ferry script. Do you have a buyer for my house? I don't know. I haven't seen the home yet. So I need to see the home. And our office, I'm a little small, office. My wife, my son-in-law, and I are the only licensed agents here, and we get walk-ins all the time. And they may want a house just like yours, but without seeing it, I'm not going to be able to describe it accurately. The second reason is if you sell your home on your own, I'm going to know your home for comparables so that I can help other buyers and sellers in the future. The third reason is, hey, when you sell your home, if you had 6, 7, 8 people come by that were interested, you can only sell to one of them. I'd like you to refer those other buyers to me to work with so I can help them find a house if they're not going to be buying yours. Okay, that's what I call the sneaky Pete. It gives them a logical reason to let you come over even though they've said they're not going to list their house with you. There's something in it for me as an agent, and that makes a lot of for sale by owners relax. The fourth reason is if of course, if you change your mind and you decide to interview agents, you know a great place to start. I want to earn your business. And if you're buying locally, I want to help you find your replacement house. And if you're moving out of the area, I can refer you to anywhere in the country or Canada or the world, really. And the sixth reason is you'll get some great free marketing tips. Now, what are those marketing tips? They could be a market analysis. They could be a way to make the Zillow ad much better. They could be free FSBO ad sites to advertise on. They could be the Dave Ramsey article. They could be the for sale by owner article. They could be a market update. They could be anything you have that's free marketing tips. And then you end it like this. I promise no high pressure sales. I won't ask you to list with me. So does Tuesday or Thursday at 4:30 work better for you? So there's there's 6 reasons to allow you to come over. Only one of them involves them interviewing for the job to sell the house. Now, some people say, well, if they might say no. I want them to know, I want the for sale by owners to know that they're in the presence of a good real estate salesperson. I have a belief that we go and visit for sale by owners and we go and visit expireds and we're sort of wishy-washy and we don't give them what they want. We don't give them that little bit of a show. I mean, if you went to a magic show and the guy did no magic, you might say, well, that was a waste of time. If they let a real estate salesperson come over, be a real estate salesperson and at least ask for the business, even if it's in sort of a flyer, in a good sense, manner. Point number 4 here. Number 6, this is when the conversation is stalled and you feel like you want to get over, you try these other things, and you just want to do what in neurolinguistic programming is called a pattern interrupt. And you just want to get them out of the thinking, oh, you're just trying to come over and list their house. And Monica and everybody else, you would just ask, hey, what's going to be in your next home that's not in your current home? Okay, I say it this way because once I asked how I was taught it, what won't your next home have that this one does? And the woman said, my husband, but he doesn't know that yet. So I like this question. So what's going to be in your new home that's not in your current home? And then it doesn't matter what they say. A large backyard, a fenced-in backyard. It's going to be in a better school district. It's going to be a bigger master bedroom. It's going to have a dining room that seats 12. It's going to have a newer kitchen. Whatever they say, ask them to dig deep. What's important about that? If you write out no other questions from today's questions, I want you to write this one down. What's important about that? Tell me more, please. What's important about that? Tell me more, please. And then for those of you with this great database as an Espresso agent, and you're getting into this conversation, you're asking that question, make notes in the database. So if you don't get the appointment, or you get the appointment but you don't get the listing, when you do the follow-up, you can press on that. Is it still important that you get into the house that has the bigger backyard, the fenced-in backyard, the nicer kitchen, whatever that is? What you really want to do is dig several layers deep to find the emotional reason why they're moving. We had somebody buy a house because they wanted a fenced yard. They could not fence the yard that they were in. It was too small, and the houses were too close together for their 3 dogs. So they bought a fenced yard with a house attached. It's fine with me, but they really love the dogs, and when I talk to them, they say the dogs are so happy running around in the backyard. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. The 7th question, and you can ask this to the for sale by owners and the expireds, and this is one, again, where the conversation stalled. You want to give the puppy dog face with the smile and the nod, and it's a little bit of neurolinguistic programming magic here. And it's if you felt that you had a good chance, and I mean a really, really, really good chance to net $5,000 extra by having me represent you to sell your home, would you at least consider it? So this is a question after you've gotten into the conversation and you're just getting nowhere and you don't feel like asking them what will your next home have that the current one doesn't have, but you want to ask a question because the conversation sort of stalled. If you felt that you had a good chance, and I mean a really, really, really good chance, to net $5,000 extra by having me represent you to sell your home, would you at least consider it? The for sale by owners are going to say, yeah, and then they might have a but I don't think you're going to be able to show me that. That's where the earlier sheet comes into play and the Dave Ramsey and all those other things. And the expired might say, yeah, I don't know how. And how do you prove this? Is you keep track of your numbers. You know what your list price to your sales price ratio is compared to your board's average. Everybody's is generally pretty good now. But in many cases, if you were 1% better than the board's average, you're at the $5,000 or close to it. So in the spirit of giving more, I have a bonus question or a bonus thought. it's at the end of the conversation. You've been with them, and man, they're just not budging. They're not going to let you come over. They're not going to interview other agents. They say if it's an expired listing, they say, Monica, we're going to get through the holidays, and we're not going to list until the end of January. And you go, so great. And, rather than saying, well, I'll be in touch, try this on for size. I just want you to know I thank you so much for talking with me, and I really appreciate it. And now I owe you a favor. Now, in neurolinguistic programming, the mojo there, what you see is when you say that is you're telling them that you owe them a favor, so their mind immediately jumps to a couple of conclusions. First conclusion is, well, I did them a favor because they owe me one. And if I did them a favor, our brains are wired such that they feel that they like and trust you, or else they wouldn't have done the favor. So by using those words, and now I owe you a favor, they're now thinking, wow, I like and trust this guy. Okay? So if you ever have questions about all this real estate stuff, feel free to cash that favor in, and please get in touch. So here it is. It's November 15th, and we can use that scenario where Monica says, I'm not listing till the end of January. And so here it is at Christmas, and or you could write a nice handwritten note. Hey, Mike Stott, again, thanks for talking with me. I really do owe you a favor. If you ever have any real estate related questions or know of anybody with any real estate related questions, here's my contact information. And then January, I don't know what day, January 2nd is a Monday. I might be calling them up and say, hey, Monica, I haven't forgotten I owe you a favor. Do you have any questions for me? It gives you a good reason to stay in touch. So Seth Godin, if you're not subscribed to Seth Godin's daily blog, get subscribed. He did one a couple of weeks ago called Fully Baked. So in medical school, an ongoing lesson is that there will be ongoing lessons. I've been involved in real estate for 36 plus years now. It's the same, and it's radically different. You got to keep learning. You're never done. Surgeons and internists are expected to keep studying their entire careers. In fact, it's required to keep a license valid. Knowledge workers, those people who manage, who go to meetings, who market, who do accounting, who seek to change things around them, knowledge workers often act as if they're fully baked, that the more training and learning is not just unnecessary but a distraction. I know a lot of real estate agents unfortunately fall into this category. The average knowledge worker reads fewer than one business book a year. On the other hand, the above average knowledge worker probably reads 10. Show me your bookshelf or the courses you take or the questions you ask, and I'll have a hint as to how much you care about leveling up. Okay, and I don't do high pressure sales. If you like our style and you want to get more baked, we have a special discount for espresso agents today. It will turn off probably tomorrow, maybe Monday or Friday. But if you go to FSBOcourse.com/espresso, you can buy the course. It's $4.90, but you get a 20% off. And if you're interested in the expired course, which I haven't updated for about 2 years, but it's still good, the expiredcourse.com is $194 less 20% off. And if you have any questions, you can email me, mike.stott@mac.com. And Monica, now's the time for questions.
Yes, some questions, and I'm sorry for the technical problem in the beginning. Actually, I think we've been asking them as we go. I do have a question, though, I thought of while you were talking. I know most of these conversations must be happening on the phone because you're using espresso and those numbers. Have you ever done door knocking on FSBOs, and what's your position on that?
I love it. I have a philosophy with for sale by owners is I live in a fairly dense suburban area in Roswell, Georgia, and in the 3 zip codes where my office and my house and my son's house is, there's about 90,000 homes. So all of them are easy for me to door knock on, and usually the biggest hindrance to door knocking is that it's too far away or there's too little return for your time. But I do a more concentrated geographic area, and I knock on their doors all the time, leave a handwritten note, sorry I missed you. Or if I knock on the door, I just hey, it's Mike Stott, my office is just down the street, or I live around the corner, or my son-in-law says, I live around the corner. We knock on the door. We were just wondering if we could stop by to see the house. I know now might not be a good time, and if you're offering a commission if a real estate agent brings you a buyer. We get into the conversation at the door. So I'm a big believer that face-to-face is always going to be better than over the phone. Over the phone is always going to be better through email, and any one of the three of those is always going to be better than just sitting around thinking about it.
That's the truth. Do you, besides that little note, are you leaving anything behind?
Yeah, in the FSBO course, there's a bunch of things that we have. We have the FSBO fact sheet, what I call the FSBO cheat sheet, where it gives the statistics. And I also wrote a book, and it's a 67-page booklet that I print out myself. One of my projects over the holidays is to figure out how to get this thing published. And I print it out and I leave it to them. And it is really not a 67-page commercial. There's like 1 page of commercial in it and 66 pages on what I would do, how to prep the home, how to price the home, how to negotiate, how to do open houses, what to do during showings, and all that sort of stuff. 66 pages of it on how to get your house sold. I will leave that book also. Again,
awesome.
Coming from the spirit of contribution.
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit? What I like about this approach is, first of all, it feels very realistic. It's very non-threatening. You used that word a couple times. I like that. I like the questions. It's always the best way to get the information you need and get into relationship. Talk to me about kind of the reality of it not being successful on the first call with getting the appointment, which is obviously your main goal there. And what is your follow-up technique? How long are you bugging them? Are you showing up? Are you, besides calling back to say, hey, I owe you a favor, but that only happens if they gave you time on the phone.
If you see my emails right here, what I have is I have set up, I'm Macintosh-based. If you're Gmail-based, you can do canned responses. You can see I have all these FSBO standard emails. So the first email takes me this long. I might say, nice ad on Craigslist, okay? How much of a commission are you offering? Okay, the second, and it has my information. The second email I send the next day or 2 days later if they haven't responded. If they respond, I send it immediately. And the second email is, here's some progressive marketing techniques you can use to get more exposure for your home. And then I give them a list of free websites, and I talk about, posting it right, getting the video up, creating a blog or Facebook. It's a whole bunch of marketing ideas. Then if they haven't responded, on day number 3, I send them the economic news. Now, all of these are hyperlinks to articles, and we teach you how to do this in the course. But every week I Google Atlanta real estate news. In fact, I set up a Google alert so it just emails me. And so every week I add an additional article and I drop one off the bottom. Now, people never open this, but they see this and they say, oh, wow, this guy's paying attention to what's going on in the marketplace. Hang on. And then depending on whether they respond or not, I have the 6 ways. I understand you're not looking for an agent right now. Or I might go to their Zillow ad. So if I look at their Zillow ad, and I say, I took a look at your Zillow ad, a couple of comments. You can easily increase viewership by doing a video and posting it on Zillow. Download the Zillow app and follow instruction. It's 2 minutes or less and no sound. And that shows them that I know what's going on in Zillow. You can add an owner comment. Click on the downward facing next to the Zillow Zestimate details. Claim your home and type away. And then I have to copy and paste this. I also notice you're priced below the Zillow estimate. Why not advertise that fact? Or you're priced above the estimate Zillow provides. You might want to use the video and the owner's comment to show potential buyers why your home is worth more than the estimate. And they are off and off. And then I give them the free websites again. But I just go on and on. Those first 5 emails, the commission, the marketing recommendations, the Zillow recommendations, the economic, and the 6 ways, they usually get all 5 of those within the first 7 to 8 days that they've listed. And then I have a whole bunch of other things to stay in touch, including the fax, which is one of my favorites. The fax says, most of the serious buyers work with real estate agents. The majority of agents don't like to work with FSBOs because the commissions are negotiable. There's more work and there's more liability. Add this to the fact that many agents search only the multi-list service for listings. It's easy to see why FSBOs don't get exposure to the agents. Now, I have a typo in here, and that's sort of on purpose to make it look like I was just typing it up. If it's too perfect or it's too packaged, they won't read it. And so, it goes on and on. I add value and do the work. Otherwise, we wouldn't get the results mentioned in this email. So I have a whole list of emails. You can get them all in the FSBO course, but you're able to easily stay in touch with them. And then you call them and just, in between the emails and say, I'd still like to see your home, or have you still sold it yet? My favorite one is I call them, hey, I'm updating my database. Have you sold the home yet? No? Well, gosh, have you considered, would you be willing to hear what I could do to help? And I promise you,
That's awesome.
I won't charge you a penny until, I do my job, get an offer, blah, 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 all the things we do. Long answer to a short question, but it's
no, that is great. Thank you for sharing those. That's awesome. And those are things that, yes, it would be nice to have your language, but if you didn't, you get the gist of just coming from contribution and trying to help. And if nothing else, I'm guessing you've created a fan in that person, even if they never need you.
I had a guy that was selling his father's house, and he sold it on his own. He advertised at a couple of the websites and everything else. Great. I said, congratulations. The only other question I ask, and if I use Infusionsoft for my database now because we do a lot of marketing for the other company, the only other question I ask is whether a real estate agent brought the buyer in or not. And so that's sort of how I keep my statistics. And of the 4 out of 10 that sell here in Atlanta or my area in Atlanta, the 4 out of 10 that are selling on their own, 3 out of 4 of them are a real estate agents bringing the buyer in. So at least I have those statistics, and I'm able to say then with sincerity, hey, the chances are that even if you do sell it on your own, a buyer's agent is going to be on the other side of that transaction, and they're legally obligated, a fiduciary duty, to get the best price, which means they got to negotiate against you. They're not going to be working with you. So just, other talk. You can see, again, I get excited. If you guys have questions and you say, maybe should I buy the course or not buy the course, email me. We can talk about it more or get into a dialogue. And if you're ready to buy it, either of these courses also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can look at it, you can get ideas out of it, and if it's not going to work for you, just let us know. We'll refund your money.
Well, that's great. I am sure it is full of great information like what you shared today, and I'm just sorry I didn't get to introduce you. You probably didn't get a chance to tell them that you are actually accredited through the International Coaching Federation. Did you brag on yourself there?
No, not much. Just that, I think for most of these people, the agents, Inman is a noted source. I'm one of the top 25 coaches. We've been doing it for 10 years. We really love it, and our whole thing is we don't want to be that huge coaching company that we used to work for, because we want to know our clients and we want to have, be dedicated towards their success. And the same philosophy is done with, everything we do. So, yeah, Linda, the course is something Linda Hankins is asking, is the course something you receive? Yeah, it's all up on the web. It's FSBOcourse.com. There's a free webinar that goes over some of this stuff. An expired course has a free webinar. It shows you how it's laid out. It shows you how it works, and it's learn on your own. It's not a set date or time. It's all set up just for you. So, yeah, take a look, Linda. I think you'll enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Mike. Really appreciate it, and we know how valuable it is. And Espresso Nation, thank you for joining us again, and I hope you'll join us. You'll be seeing something coming over here soon. We have another one on December 7th at 1 o'clock with Amber LeBlanc. So we'll be sending out information. Yeah.
Great.
Well, thanks again, Mike. You're the best.
We appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Good stuff. Okay, thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye-bye.